So a couple of things as we start the hour, and caution for those of you that have been around a long time on the show. This is one of those moments where a lot of us are going to feel a little bit older, and that is that Brody Burgess is 18 years old today. Wow.
How about
18 years old. The Tasmo young Broderick. And the reason why he's called young Broderick is when the school that he just graduated from, it's very, very common. I know it's getting common for a lot of people to what they call hold a kid back, meaning they start them to official school older than they used to when some of us were younger. And he didn't do that. All of our other kids, we did. So he's already graduated before he even turned 18. And so he's turning 18 now a few days after he graduated from high school. And so that's how he kind of picked up the name in the family and in his groups of friends, because at our school, I mean, you can be in the grade with somebody, and if you didn't hold yourself back, that'd be almost 2 years older.
Oh, yeah.
And so I remember when my oldest son was playing one time against a quarterback that was really good that played, because he played against this team that now his brothers go to. And I was like, well, that quarterback looks pretty good. And he said, well, he should. He's 19.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, so like I say, for him to graduate at 17 and now turn 18. So anyway, but Brody is it's funny because they're on their go to the beach with his group of friends and all the others, and so it's kind of tradition. Probably something, Greg, it would have been better when we were all younger. That parents actually go down and chaperone.
Oh yeah,
and. I was laughing my head off because the years vary according to what class on what parents can go and can't go.
Right.
And so last year it seemed to be that more of the moms ended up going to chaperone than dads, just by you never know the family dynamics and who's got to work, who doesn't. But this year it's all dads. So last year they were 0 incidents. Okay, 0. The moms were down there, and all this kind of stuff, and some of them. They have already reported back we've had a dislocated arm.
Oh, wow.
With one of the people. They sent a picture. There's one guy down there in a sling now. So the dislocated arm, and then I get then young Broderick sends a picture back, or one of the dads took a picture of him, and he's like, you can see where he put his sunscreen on, where he doesn't. He's like burned all over in different splotches. And I said, Sherry, this is just, I'm sorry, this is what it looks like when you got dad chaperoning versus
Well, and Rick, it's that thing, too, where they're going to say, I gave y'all one thing to do.
I know.
And it's not one thing,
I know.
but that's what they're going to say.
You've heard me talk about that a lot. Women will say, I asked you to do one thing, but no, it's always more than one. It's multiple things. But I'm going to tell you what's happened is the dads down there, they've got their own little group going. They've kicked it out a year.
Yeah,
and,
they're enjoying the vacation themselves.
Right, what's this got to do with
their
fishing?
sunscreen ain't on any better than the kids.
Another picture comes in. Somebody's caught a shark. And like then the kids, some of the kids are getting the picture made next to it, and it looks like all it could do is just come around and bite somebody. And I'm like, this is what it looks like for dads to chaperone versus mom chaperone. That's what this is. But Brody has been nothing but a blessing. He's it's funny to watch them grow up, and he was for us size wise, and even. He to me, he looked like a little boy for a lot longer than his brothers, and then bam, before you knew it,
he's the tallest one of the bunch.
He did this 2-year jump where he kind of started turning into a man. But it's like I was telling him, it's this is that point in life where you make that step, and if you're someone who's already made a decision at a young age and then trying to live out that you made your decision that you're going to follow Jesus And now the big test comes when you step out from, and the faith becomes your own. And I said, the big step coming here, and you can look at all the multiple kids that I even have in different, they're all such individuals. But I said, here's the thing that's the same for everybody no matter what. This next step will be the big step where one thing's going to happen. Either you're going to go out and you're going to influence the world, or you're going to go out and let the world influence you.
Yep.
Either your faith is going to impact the world, or the world's going to destroy your faith. One of the two is going to happen, and you'll either become a lot like the world, or you'll try to have the world become a lot like Jesus. It'll be one or the other. And I said so, and certainly everything as of right now looks great. And I said, but starting the race is one thing, finishing it is another, and it's about to be a whole new level. But I mean, it's a different thing with this generation. I've noticed, unlike ours, and certainly, there's no perfection with any person, any of us in a fallen creation, and certainly young Broderick is not a perfect human being. None of us are. But But I notice, and a lot of this happens where they end up and what they do is there's kind of a when we were all young, when I was just talking about a faith issue, when we were all young in Alabama, in the buckle of the Bible Belt, everybody that I knew, every single person, all were Christians and all were going to heaven. Everybody. I mean, now I'm not saying that was true. I'm just talking about that's what everybody claimed. And what you find now, that there's good and bad with this, just being able to work with youth, and of course all of us having kids that are part of this generation, is you do find that there's a remnant of young people that I didn't see when we were all growing up that have made a commitment that it's not cultural Christianity for them. They're actually devout followers of Jesus, meaning they're not going to compromise their purity. They're not going to be a bunch of drunks. And then still go to church, most Sundays and claim that, that everything's still okay with their faith. But the problem is most of the people I knew lived in kind of this middle ground. I don't drink, but my sexual purity has been compromised. Or I drink and I do both, but we all go to church. We all claim to be Christians. But none of us are really, really bad, but none of us are really, really good. And what you have now is there's a remnant that is sold out. But I got bad news for you. The middle ground's kind of going away too on the other end, and boy, the other end is darker than ever. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you look at Scripture, as we get to the end times, it kind of says this is going to happen. But there's some positives with some of these young people that they actually have said, you know what, we actually have looked at the way y'all did things, with all this claim to cultural Christianity, and we've kind of drop kicked that because we didn't say a whole lot of power with it. So we've actually devoted ourselves to think that, hey, we're going to buy in and think differently and do things differently. Now, they still got to be tested, and we'll see how they go. But the bad part is those that have rejected the faith, they've just rejected it completely.
There's no
they want nothing to do with it. And that middle ground, I'm not saying the middle ground's completely gone, but it's mostly gone. It's not like when we were young. When we were young, you didn't talk to anybody that said they didn't believe. Now, they might not live it, but they didn't reject it. But now there's either rejection or there's I vault in completely in the middle. And I think there's some freshness to some of that, but there's also some scariness to some of that, because if the kid drifts to the other side now, it's not going to be a minor situation. Like at one time it might have been, I got in trouble a little bit, I messed up, but this thing shouldn't have done, but I'm going to get it corrected. If they make the turn to the dark now, I mean, I'm not saying you can't get them back, but it's just a whole different deal now. So I think the importance of discipling them to saying, go ahead and buy in now, it's always been important. Don't misunderstand me. But now the world is a dangerous place for those who don't. And we'll see. Now it'll all find out what the real deal is now. So far, so good. So proud to be your dad. Look, learn from us. Figure out what God's will is for your life and just do it. And make a decision. You're going to impact the world. You're not going to have the world impact you. And you can't use youth as an excuse. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.